This podcast is brought to you by Optimizer's Mass Zines product. Watch the video at the end of the podcast for more details.
Welcome to the Deepak Saini Show.
Welcome to the Deepak Saini Show. I'd like to thank J23 for the intro music. You can find a link to her music in the show description. You're successful. You built something great. You're making big decisions. You're managing teams. You're driving revenue. But here's what most high performers miss. While you're optimizing everything external in your business, your cellular energy system is quietly failing. Today, we're talking about mitochondria, your cellular power plants. We'll get into the definition of that in a little bit here, and why ignoring them is costing you performance now and setting you up for bigger problems later on. So again, what are your mitochondria? Now, I'm not trying to go back to science class here or biology, but just a high level it for you here. Think of them as the tiny power plants inside every one of your cell. They convert, your food, oxygen, other nutrients into ATP. This is actually your energy currency, if you will, what your body actually runs on. Your body doesn't use food, doesn't use water, doesn't use et cetera, and everything converts into ATP. That's the energy currency that your body uses. You have mitochondria everywhere. Your brain, your heart, your muscles, thousands per cell. Okay, so mitochondria are super, super small. And when they work well, you are firing on all cylinders. You are performing both physically, mentally. When they don't, you're running on fumes, and it shows. And you probably know people like this. Even if you don't see it in yourself, you know people like this. So what does this look like when you are running on fumes, or mitochondria are not performing as you want? The 2 p.m. crash, you're reaching for another coffee or the Red Bull or whatever the case may be, nicotine, whatever. Brain fog and critical meetings. You're maybe not as sharp as you used to be. And maybe people are starting to notice. And if you don't think they're noticing, trust me, your wife, the board members on your team, they're noticing. Recovery time takes longer after working out, after travel, much, much longer than it used to be. Workouts don't hit the same. That stubborn weight maybe is just not moving like it used to. Sleep that doesn't actually refresh you. Usually you're in bed for 7-8 hours. Your tracker even says you've been in bed for that long, but you're not actually feeling refreshed. Now, most people, you've probably been told this, it's just aging, it's just stress. Those play a role, but really it boils down to mitochondrial dysfunction. Your mitochondria are not producing the ATP, producing the energy that they once did, like you need them to. Why does this matter? Okay, that's the big point here. Standard blood work is not going to catch it. It does not even look at anything mitochondria. Your doctor is certainly not going to mention it unless you're working with like functional medicine, longevity doctor or something like that. Your general GP is not going to talk about this at all. But the impact compounds day after day, year after year. And if unchecked, it isn't just about energy. Mitochondrial decline accelerates your aging, increases your risks for the diseases you don't have time for. Heart disease, cognitive decline, metabolic issues, cancer, you name it. Especially if you're someone with family history. You've seen this in your family members, your father, your grandfather, whatever the case, your mother, whatever the case may be. This is the cause. Mitochondrial decline leads to these things. Now, what are some of the other symptoms you see? Chronic stress. Cortisol. Right. So a lot of us are running just high on cortisol. Just that stress response to everything in our life. This is toxic to your mitochondria. Environmental toxins. So pesticides, heavy metals, mold, air pollution. Things are just in our environment we can't avoid, but we can mitigate them to help our mitochondria. Poor nutrition. Again, a lot of you have these crazy schedules, or you're just grabbing something on the go. You're off to meetings, you're off to the gym for your run, whatever. Quite often, you're actually having a nutrient deficient. All your meals or in combination are just nutrient deficient. Your fuel is not actually providing what it needs for your mitochondria. Lack of recovery. So again, sleep deprivation, all night for board meetings or preparing, travel, whether personal or professionally, overtraining, all these things I see all the time. Medications, if you're on, antibiotics, statins, blood pressure, whatever you might be on, or even some of these recreational type of things that are becoming more popular, with high performers, would it be, psilocybin or LSD, microdosing, whatever the case may be. These things affect your mitochondria as well. You need to be very careful managing those things. And just chronic inflammation from your lifestyle, from your diet, just everything you do. Now, the key point is that it's not, to some degree, it is age related, and your tends to decline as you age, but that's not the life sentence, so to speak. You can, overcome these, but it's accumulated damage of all those things I just mentioned. It's over time. That's the real thing that really gets you. It's all the, like to say, all the little paper cuts along the way that is affecting your mitochondria. So, not addressing this, what is the challenge of this? So again, cognitive decline. It affects our decision quality, or how fast we make decisions. Delaying decision making, whether it be in the boardroom, taking minutes that should take seconds, or outside in the boardroom, in the office, taking days or weeks to make a big business decision that should take hours only. All these things come in when you don't have the energy. Again, those energy crashes that limit your productivity. So you're crushing it till 2 p.m. Then you have that that afternoon crash, or maybe you're crushing it all day long, hitting all your business metrics. Then you get home and you're like just spent in that quality time with your family. Again, the disease risk, hitting things right when you're in your prime. Some of these things are inevitable, heart disease, cancer, whatever. But wouldn't you rather get it when you're in your 80s or 90s, not in your 50s or 60s? Yes, our mitochondria and the health of our body, we can delay these things into the future. Again, losing your competitive edge, to your younger members of your team, competitors, people that are you're deeming as sharper. You can be sharper too. You don't need to lose your competitive edge, and it all starts with healthy mitochondria. And the last thing I want for anyone to be, and I see this all the time, and it's unfortunate, is like, oh my God, I should have started this earlier. That regret in our 55, 60, 70, whatever the case may be, is like, I should have done this in my 30s. Yes, you should have, but the best time to start is now. Listen, you spent decades building wealth, reputation, your business. If your energy falls or declines at a cellular level, none of that matters. None of what you have matters when that declines, because then all the negative things that come up for it. So how, well, the good news is that our mitochondria actually respond very quickly to the right interventions. Now, this isn't about overhauling your complete life and changing everything up around and implementing a million things that you're not going to do. It's about strategic, highly leveraged changes. And you already know this. You're a leader. You know what leverage can do in your business, leverage can do in your company. So it's about implementing highly leveraged tactics and systems to optimize what's not working for you. So again, I already said standard lab tests don't show this. You need to do high-level testing and look at inflammatory markers, oxidative stress, your nutrition status, and your metabolic function. You need to target your mitochondria with very specific raw materials. Now, this is not an all-exhaustive list. You need to test to see what's right for you, but let me just high-level sums. Things like CoQ10, L-carnitine, alpha-lipoic acid, B vitamins, quality magnesium, right? But you can't just supplement without knowing your root causes. And that's why I'm so big about working with my clients about actually testing up front. It's the first part of my methodology. Strategic movement, right? Exercise builds new mitochondria, but only if dosed properly. You can't overtrain. That actually just crashes them. So overtrain, you're destroying your mitochondria. Undertraining or not training at all, you're not doing anything to help them. So you need the right protocol built for you that's both of quality and the right quantity. Your nervous system state, your emotions directly impacts your mitochondria function as well. You need to shift out of that chronic fight or flight to that rest and digest. And many of us, me myself included, many of us spend too much time of our day or our week in that fight or flight. Those meetings, the constant calls, the constant emails, etc. And again, we can work on our nervous system and control that. And don't get me wrong, sometimes we wear it as a badge of honor that we are so busy and that we're doing these things and we're in demand, and taking a step back and really working on our nervous system, really getting in tune with our rest and digest, our parasympathetic nervous system. That's not you being soft. Okay, that's actually necessary for performance. Also, I talked earlier about the pollutions. We need the right water, air. That means filtration, food quality, EMF reduction. We're just bombarded with it, especially in the office setting in our businesses. Managing all these external pollutions, if you will, takes the pressure off ourselves, so that they can actually focus on what we want them to do, which is energy production instead of damage control. So, like I mentioned earlier, our mitochondria naturally decline as we age, and accelerates as we age. But again, it's not inevitable. My clients I work with, the business leaders I work with, the ones who address this proactively they don't just maintain their energy, they actually improve it. You can be sharper in your 50s than you were in your 30s or 40s. Many people don't think that because of this, what we have been told in the media or even told from our own doctors. You can improve as you age. Building companies, staying active, planning for decades more of impact, right? We all want a legacy. We all want to make our impact, especially we've so hard building our businesses. We want that impact to carry on. And the only way we're going to do that is if we have the energy. And the ones who ignore this, the ones who are managing chronic fatigue, they're getting early onset disease. They're wondering why aging hit them so hard when it didn't hit, this other person. We need to take control. We are in control. You have all the tools. You just need a little bit of knowledge, but you have all the tools ready to make yourself have more energy. So just a bottom line in here, you can't outwork, you can't out earn, out hustle, out grind cellular dysfunction. Your body's energy crisis will force you to pay attention, either now on your terms or later on its terms. I would prefer you take it head on and do any lifestyle changes, boosting your energy production, boosting your mitochondria on your terms. That's the most important thing. And if you're noticing the cracks and you just want to optimize longevity, you want to stay ahead, what's happening in that cutting edge, that intersection of science and health, let's talk about it. I run a private mastermind for founders and executives serious about optimizing their health, performance, and longevity. It's free. It's by invitation only. We go deep on strategies that actually work, the things that are actually challenging your health now that are affecting your business or how you show up in your business. This isn't surface level things. This is going deep with you. So if you're curious on my invitation only mastermind for leaders, DM me and we'll see if it's a fit. This is again by invitation only. So again, this is just the high level here that I wanted to just recap. Mitochondria, again, this is a term we maybe haven't heard since biology. Your GP, no one's really talking about it that much, but it's actually the foundation. It's your power plant of your cells at a cellular level, impact there that goes outwards into the rest of your life. So I just want to really, this is almost like a PSA just to get the awareness out there, because again, many people are not talking about this. There's this crisis that I see with leaders and health challenges, and that next stage of our legacy that I see coming on the horizon that almost no one is talking about. And I want to open up that conversation so that people like you who are already making an impact can continue to make their impact for much longer, depending where you're at. Do you want impact for the next 20, 30, years, maybe 40 years, depending how old you are, or do you want to go impact for the next 50, 60 years like I plan on doing? So again, just want to really start the conversation. And if you want to learn more about my mastermind, just reach out. Anyway, I'm going to throw it back to J23. It's going to guide us out with some music. I want to thank you all for listening. If this resonated with you, share it with another high performer who needs to hear this. Also, don't forget to check out today's show sponsor, Bioptimizers, who have products that are directly beneficial for your mitochondria. And as well, there's a bunch of free resources in the show notes as well. So I want to thank you for listening to the Deepak Saini Show. Remember, exceptional results for the exceptional you. Until next time, take care. Today's podcast sponsor is Bioptimizers, particularly their Mastermind product here. I use this every time I have a protein-rich meal or a dairy-rich meal. It's a digestive enzyme product that helps break down proteins from meat and eggs, etc. You know, you're having that big steak, and also dairy products. You're having the cheese, etc. So I'm very sensitive to these dairy products, particularly some of the enzymes in that. So it helps me break it down so my body can actually use it, and helps break down that yummy steak or ribs or chicken or whatever I'm having, so I can actually use the amino acids from that and help digest that food. So Bioptimizers has like 80 products in their line. I'm just talking about one here, Mastermind. There's Gluten Guardian, which I've talked about before if you're sensitive to gluten. They have nootropics, and they also have my favorite brand of Magnesium Breakthrough, that has all 7 forms of magnesium. And I'll talk about that another time. But Mastermind, if you eat meat and you want to get more from your meat, make sure you're digesting it properly and actually get the benefits you want, get those amino acids, then you definitely want to check out Mastermind.
Podcast produced by the Minted Green Company,